I?
Yeah.
I'm one of the police officers that works in the building.
Is it? Have you got some ID?
Have you got any ID?
Okay, you're a police officer asking me. I don't need ID.
Right, I'd like to know what you're doing flying a drone in the police car park.
Because I wanted to. So if you don't have a warrant card...
I do have a warrant card.
Okay, so I need to see that then.
Right.
There you go. Not that difficult, was it?
Right. Why have you got to be like this?
I'm not being like this.
You're just having a conversation with me.
No, you're not. You're saying I can't do this, I can't do that. Hey, how you doing?
Asking why you're flying a drone over a police building.
Because I wanted to.
Well,
It's a police premises.
Okay. You don't own the airspace.
No, but it's a secure building. You've got to understand that there's a massive security risk. If
Does
you're
it?
flying a drone or...
So what security risk do you think I'm going to pose?
Well, we don't know that, do we?
What's the security risk?
Why are you being so argumentative?
I'm not being argumentative. I'm asking you...
Nice.
Sorry.
And asking you politely,
Okay.
please don't fly the drone over the building.
Okay, so
you could be liable to be searched under the Terrorism Act.
Terrorism.
This case quickly became one of the most tense encounters between police and a civilian auditor. What started as a harmless drone flight near a police station soon spiraled into accusations, detentions, and a heated clash over rights versus authority. On one side, officers leaned on their badges, though their legal ground seemed shaky. On the other, an auditor stood his ground, confident in the law and unwilling to back down. A simple recording turned into a contest over who truly understood the rules. But this wasn't really about a drone. It was about power, accountability, and whether those tasked with enforcing the law sometimes stepped beyond it. As the exchanges grew sharper, one question remained: did the officers act within the law, or did they cross a dangerous line?
As I'm required to by law, falls into the Terrorism Act.
Common sense, don't you think?
No, it's not. Hold on, you've just cited the Terrorism Act.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So what part of the Terrorism Act says that I can't fly a drone over the airspace above your building?
Well, all police buildings, all buildings
right, I get what you're saying, but if you're saying...
detrimental effect for someone... Well, I'm not,
right,
you don't look like you are, but I don't know. You could be someone who's looking to cause trouble.
Interrupt. Obviously, you're recording.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, which you're entitled to do.
Yeah.
I don't have my body cam on me. I've identified myself, so I'm going to record you as well.
Is that a personal phone?
Yeah, well, they can take... Is that a personal phone?
Yeah, but you're under GDPR regulations, so you need to make sure you make a copy of that available if I request it.
Yep, as would be the
But I don't have a problem if you film with me, it's completely fine. Just so long as when I make my freedom of information request that's available.
And I will supply...
Okay.
This is where everything starts to fall apart. Instead of pointing to a clear aviation rule or any specific law, the officer jumped straight to the Terrorism Act, a move that immediately raises questions. Section 43 does allow stops and searches when there's genuine suspicion of terrorist activity. But does someone flying a small drone in open air really fit that standard? Clearly not. By choosing this route, the officer exposed the gap between law and authority. Instead of relying on drone regulations or safety rules, he leaned on the heavy label of terrorism, a choice that felt more about control than enforcement. The moment draws a sharp contrast between protecting the public and stretching powers just to shut someone down. And it leaves one key question hanging: did the officer actually believe terrorism was at play, or was he simply bluffing to intimidate the drone operator?
So no, I'll ask you one more time, and
you're free to go.
Yeah, if I'm free to go. If I'm free to go, then I'm free to stay. Okay, it's as simple as that.
You're free to go.
Right, you've cited the terrorism legislation, but you've not told me what part of that legislation that I may be.
Can I speak, please?
Of course you can.
You are being detained under the Terrorism Act.
Okay, what part of the Terrorism Act?
Well, I believe it's Section 43.
Okay, and what are your grounds for that?
You're flying a drone, you're being very obstructive to us.
Okay.
I'm trying to have a conversation.
Is that grounds?
I'm trying to give you...
No, you stop, you're infringing on my rights at the moment.
Can I please...
Okay, and you're misusing legislation, and you're going to make yourself party to a civil claim. And then there'll be professional standards involved.
I would rather be safe than sorry. You're flying an aircraft over a police building.
Correct. Technically, I didn't go over the police building. No, I won't let you finish because you're infringing on my rights at the moment.
Ferguson. I'm based at Bow Mounted Branch Stables. I've shown you my warrant card, yet again, because obviously you're going to want to see it again. There is my warrant card. Okay, I've told you you're being searched.
You're not talking about being searched.
Right, you're detained.
You're unlawfully searching me.
I'm not unlawfully.
You're unlawfully searching me. Why are you grabbing me like that?
Because
Then comes a surprising twist that changes the tone of the encounter. The officer admits he is recording, but on his personal phone. At first, it might sound harmless, but legally it's a serious issue. Under GDPR, any recording made while carrying out police duties counts as official data. That means it must be logged, stored securely, and available if the person filmed requests a copy. The auditor immediately catches this detail, and for good reason. Using a personal phone doesn't bypass the rules, it creates liability. Imagine if a request for that footage was made and the officer dismissed it as personal. That could easily amount to a GDPR breach, inviting complaints and even disciplinary action. This moment reveals more than a slip-up. It highlights how quickly the line between accountability and misconduct can blur when proper procedures aren't followed. What was meant as simple documentation now risks becoming proof of mishandled data, and the officer's choice to use a personal phone may have created a bigger problem than he anticipated.
Yes, you have.
Absolutely.
What part of Section 43?
I'm not going to explain it.
No, because you can't explain it, and you've not explained it.
I'm not going to
You've
explain
abused
it
the legislation, mate.
You're just being a complete idiot.
But you know what? Keep doing it, because it will be the exact same way with Section 44, and it will get repealed. And as I say, you guys have had it bad enough already. You're not making it easier on yourself. Over 800 officers being investigated.
What's that got to do with your drone being flown
Because
over
what I'm
here?
saying is, yeah, you had an opportunity to come up to me and have a decent conversation.
We tried.
And we could have educated you.
We tried.
But you've decided to misuse the legislation.
We tried.
You've not listened to a word I've
really
said.
tried.
And you've abused my rights.
From the moment I arrived.
No, because you came out with Section 43 of the
and this is where we are.
Nah, you misused the legislation, and as you can see...
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well, that could be any website.
It's from the CAA, so it's fine.
I don't know what
it's
that
fine
is.
because...
What happens next is a contradiction too big to ignore. One officer assures the auditor he's free to go, yet moments later, another detains him under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act. That kind of inconsistency isn't just confusing, it's telling. Powers under terrorism law require a strict threshold. There must be genuine suspicion of terrorist activity. Not annoyance, not resistance, and not simply refusing to cooperate. The standard is high because these powers are meant for extraordinary threats. But here, the stop looks less like suspicion and more like frustration. The auditor stood his ground, and the officers didn't like it. When policing shifts from following due process to flexing authority, the damage goes beyond one unlawful detention. It erodes public trust. Which leaves the bigger question. Was this about safety, or was it an attempt to silence someone who dared to assert their rights?
Well, look at
I've got my operator ID with on the drone.
We would do exactly the same if we were police officers.
When she came up and interrupted me from flying the drone, I said to her, I'm flying an aircraft, give me a minute and I'll land it, and I landed it straight away, did I not? There you go then. So I know what I'm talking about.
What about all these
You don't, you haven't got a clue.
What about all these private
Where's my ID? Let me go.
You're going to get your ID in a second.
What about all the private windows?
Sorry. The reason that you were stopped isn't because you're flying the drone.
Yes, it was.
No,
It's on camera.
It's not.
Well, so what is it then?
Oh my God. You're not listening.
So I says to you, if I go out on the pavement and fly my drone from there, is that okay? And you went, no. Is that not what I said? Is that not what I said? Is that not what I said? If that's the case, I'll go out on the pavement over there and I'll bring the drone back up and put it back over your building.
Why would you do that when we've just explained the reasons why?
Is that not what I said?
You're clearly not going to let
No, because you're chatting nonsense.
I'm not
You're havering.
You're not free to stay because this is...
Why am I not? If I'm free to go, I'm free to stay.
This is private
Okay,
property.
so
You are
close it
not
off
free to
then. I've got an
stay.
implied right of access.
No, you don't.
haven't.
Section
You don't
33 of the
need
Criminal
any
Justice
animals
Act,
over there.
1970.
By this stage, the encounter almost drifts into comedy, if the stakes weren't so serious. The auditor calmly pulls up the Civil Aviation Authority's official website, the very body responsible for UK airspace rules. Instead of treating it as valid guidance, the officer dismisses it with, "That could be any website." It's like ignoring the highway code during a traffic stop simply because the officer doesn't like what it says. That refusal doesn't just show doubt, it exposes a worrying lack of training. If you're detaining someone under terrorism powers, the least you can do is acknowledge the regulator's rulebook. But rather than reassess, the officer digs in deeper. What unfolds looks less like lawful policing and more like a tug-of-war over authority, with evidence ignored and the law pushed aside. This moment lays bare the core conflict, knowledge versus power, and what it means when those enforcing the rules won't follow them.
In here.
Not a public car park.
But why is it open to the public?
Because I've told
Where does
you.
it say no
Sir,
entry?
I've told
Where
you.
is your
We have to
gate?
have emergency
Jog
access
on.
for the
See you
residents
later.
of the
You're going to leave
house.
before I do.
You please go now.
Or else what?
Otherwise, I will use usual force to escort you off the private property.
And if you do that, that's fine. I will not resist. I will not fight back. But then you'll have another civil claim.
No, because it will be reasonable.
Do you want to bet? Listen, 100%.
You're so angry.
Because look at the state office. These have used Section 43 illegally to stop and search me illegally.
At the very beginning. If that was me...
Don't touch my stuff. Don't touch my stuff.
Can you
Put
take
it
your
back.
phone, please?
No, put it back on the floor.
Right,
We'll
we're
take- we'll
going.
take it
Come on,
inside then.
we're going to leave. We're going, sir. Thank you.
No,
Right, use
so reasonable force,
to
yeah.
escort you off private property.
It's not private property. Who
It
owns
is
the police?
private
Who pays
property.
for the police?
Not you.
No, actually I do. My taxes pay for the police.
Okay.
So I'm going to go on the pavement and I'm going to lift my drone up there. Then what? Then what are you going to do? I'm now on public, aren't I? So I stand on the pavement. What are you going to do then?
Please go.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, you can stay here, but you're not flying your drone over the place.
Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet?
The auditor then delivers a sharp legal point that flips the entire argument. He brings up the principle of implied right of access. Under the Criminal Justice Act, places like police station car parks are treated as open to the public unless clear barriers, signs, or restrictions say otherwise. In simple terms, if the public isn't explicitly barred, entering is no different than walking in to file a report. The officer pushes back, insisting it's private property, but without offering proof, that claim quickly weakens. By holding his ground, the auditor shows that what may look like stubbornness is really just a citizen exercising a lawful right and refusing to be pressured. This moment makes the lesson clear. Knowing the law isn't about being difficult, it's about demanding accountability. And here, the auditor's calm confidence exposed the gap between real authority and assumptions dressed up as law.
What's trying to stop me flying my drone perfectly legally? You don't even know the legislation. You've not got a clue.
Well, why are you being like this?
Because you've illegally stopped and searched me under 43 terrorism act.
Common sense.
It's not common sense.
Fly
Listen.
a drone over a government building because of security reasons.
Let me just
all I
inform
know,
you something.
you could
So
be
you keep
going
talking
back
over me, you
to-
muppet. Shut up. Shut up. How about that?
You could be
Shut your
going
mouth.
back
Shut
to
up.
a terrorist
Shut up.
organisation, for
Shut
all
up.
I know,
Okay.
to give them
Okay.
information about certain buildings.
So do you suspect
So
me
it
of being a
makes
terrorist?
perfect
Do you
sense.
suspect me of being a terrorist?
Well, maybe.
Do you? You've already
Yes.
searched me. Did I allay your fears?
Maybe, because you're adamant that you want to put your drone
Yeah,
above the...
I am. Well, you don't want to listen.
You're
I
going
tried showing
to
you.
end up going into a cell.
That's fine, mate. And then I'll have you done for false imprisonment. And the CPS will turn and say we've nothing to charge him with. Because they'll know the legislation and they'll say what he was doing was perfectly legal. So lock me up. I want you to. Because at the end of the day, it is you that will suffer when the professional standards... Yeah, 100% it will. Professional standards will come knocking.
We are just doing our jobs.
No, you're not. You're abusing the legislation, sir. What part of Section 43... You've still not answered the question I asked ages ago. What part of Section 43 doesn't allow me to fly a drone?
You can fly a drone.
Right, so you just told me I
Absolutely
can't.
fine, but over a government building...
Right, so what part of legislation says I can't
It's
do
the
that?
security
Tell
risk.
me the legislation.
It's the security risk.
Wait, is your building secure?
Yes.
Well, then you've not got a problem then, have you?
No.
This is the point where the officer's credibility completely unravels. After admitting no offence had been committed, they still tell the auditor he cannot fly his drone over the station. Think about that. He's been detained, checked, and cleared, yet instead of walking it back, the officers create a brand new rule on the spot. That isn't law enforcement, it's saving face. It's like losing an argument and inventing a fresh excuse just to stay in control. And this is exactly why these encounters draw so much attention online. They expose power being used without legal basis, where the image of authority matters more than the reality of the law. Moments like this don't just annoy one person, they chip away at public trust. Because if rules can be improvised whenever convenient, the bigger question becomes clear. Are officers really upholding the law, or simply enforcing their will?
For a terrorist organisation.
Who owns the airspace?
Are you mapping it
Stop
for a terrorist
chatting
organisation?
nonsense, man.
Well, you're chatting nonsense
Use your
to me.
common sense. You said it to
You
me.
use your common sense.
Why are you shouting at me, public servant?
Why are you shouting at
Wind your
me?
neck in. Wind your neck in. Jog on, go and do your job.
Sir.
Yeah, you don't like
I'm
it.
going to do my
You
job.
don't like
I'm
it.
going to ask you to move
no,
on.
I'm free to go. I'm free to stay. How about that?
No.
Yes.
Jog on.
It's a public
You jog
place. You jog on. See you later.
We have been nothing but nice to
You've
you.
just
You're the one
abused
who's been
Section
rude and
43.
obnoxious.
You've abused Section 43 of the legislation, and she felt me up.
I didn't fill you up.
Off you
I'm the
go.
one that
Shut up.
searched you, okay? So if you're going to have a problem...
See you later, muppet. Told you you would leave before me. Bye.
Well, I'm back in a minute.
Oh, yeah. See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a lovely
See
day.
ya.
Thank you for your time.
What started as a simple drone flight quickly spiraled into detentions, shaky references to terrorism laws, and officers leaning on arguments that failed under scrutiny. The auditor, whatever one thinks of his style, showed a clear command of the law, and with every question he asked, the gaps in police training and procedure became harder to ignore. In reality, this was never just about drones. It was about accountability, about how authority reacts when met with facts instead of compliance. The clash revealed a deeper issue. When policing shifts from lawful enforcement to improvised control, public trust is what pays the price. And that leaves one central question hanging: were the officers truly acting out of concern for safety, or were they scrambling to cover their own mistakes? The answer will shape how this incident is remembered, not as a one-off dispute, but as a reminder of why law, transparency, and restraint matter.